Alright, what's going on, guys? We are doing the Underpass on campaign mode. For our hero, we have a level 10 Aleric. He's our starter hero, and everything should be maxed out at this point. And for the upgrades, we have 4 upgrades into all of the towers, 5 upgrades into the Rain of Fire, and 5 upgrades into the reinforcement tree. Let's get into the battle. Alrighty, so starting off, we're going to go ahead and build an artillery tower towards the front. And then we'll go ahead and build a mage tower in that top middle corner and 2 archer towers at the bottom right hand side. And then we'll upgrade the archer towers and upgrade the mage tower, upgrade the artillery tower, so level 3 mage, level 2 artillery and archers. Then we get introduced to these Sumerian blood guards, or brood guards, I'm sorry, which are like reptilian-like creatures. They're fairly squishy and easy to kill with the archers, but they do good damage to your reinforcements and things. And we're just going to see a lot of these. You also notice these tunnels on the sides. They can enter on the right-hand side or the top, and they both will exit out of the tunnel over on the left-hand side. So eventually we're going to have to build stuff over there as well, but just keep building. Prioritize your archers at first because they're going to be doing a lot of damage. And we can see we have a level 3 archer tower now already on the bottom, another level 2 archer tower coming up on that center area. So lots of archers, and we're putting down reinforcements just to stall things out. Sumerian night scales are also these are probably very obnoxious to enemies because they can turn invisible and they become untargetable for a little bit. And that it could be a big problem if they turn invisible at the wrong time. But you can notice our Aleric is just standing at that main choke point where the artillery is. We already have a level 3 artillery by wave 3. So I think that's a pretty important checkpoint to hit. You can see the little guys are trying to get away. We have to chase them down with our hero and our reinforcements. So just notice that there's not a whole lot. Yeah, I think using your hero early on is probably the best policy because you want most of the damage from the towers just, in the front. So I did put a mage tower at level 1 just to help me do a little bit of damage to some of the ones that get away. But for the most part, we just kind of use our hero and our reinforcements to clean those things up. And you can also see them taking the tunnels now, starting at wave 4. The light on the tunnel indicates that there are things going through. And our hero now is just trying to basically be a mobile barracks and choke these things out. The mage tower level 3 is getting really good damage in. And then at the bottom, we already have a level 3 archer tower and a level 4 archer tower. So really good damage. And that's going to be important because these little bird things, I forget what they're called, but the bird dragon things are really, really annoying, and they move fast, so make sure you can kill them. Now getting a level 4 archer tower for the voodoo tower. So voodoo tower and then the regular archer tower for a little bit of disruption, and then of course the DPS that we need. So going into wave 6 now. Gonna make your reinforcements at the top, try to stall out the invisible guys. We want them to turn invisible early on so they don't get too far down your line being invisible. That is kind of the goal behind that, because if they can pop out of invisibility like right where the archer tower or the artillery tower is, it'll take so much damage. So we have a necromancer tower now for our main mage tower. That's going to be a huge choke point here as we start to kill guys and summon skeletons. So of course, always with the necromancer tower, you want to try and kill as many guys in their little range so they can start summoning skeleton guys and act as a barracks. If they die outside of the range of the necromancer tower, you don't get any skeletons, so it's really important to try to make that happen. And we kind of farther that point by adding a ground pounder artillery in that main central area. It'll cover everything in a circular area around it, so it's a really good place to put one. Over on the right hand side through the top tunnel, we will build 2 more mage towers and put our hero there just to stall things that are coming out of the tunnel. Get a good rain of fire. Things can stand in that burning scorched earth, take so much damage. And then I would just say periodically upgrade your mage towers because those are going to be important as you start to run into some guys with higher armor, and you just get swarms of, the little guys. So they're good DPS, good damage. Always love those mage towers. And then, of course, with the upgrade, you get more damage based on the more amount of towers you have. So you want to prioritize the mage towers if you can. Now, a couple guys are getting away. We have to pop some reinforcements and move our hero to try to stop that. We do pay the 200 gold to build some archer towers in the back, but that's something I wouldn't do early on just because it costs so much gold and you really want that damage. Even though some of the towers that you want are blocked, it's better to wait until later. Now the game at level 10, or wave 10, gives us the tanky guys. These are the armored guys that do a ton of damage. And this is kind of why we need so many mage towers, because some way of getting through their armor. We build another mage tower at the bottom there. That's going to help do a little bit of chip before these guys make too far down their lines. Necromancer tower, of course, is going to be our central choke point. And then the guys who slip away will take chip from our mage towers in the back. So far, so good. We're killing a lot of things. They are starting to go through the tunnel, so they're skipping some of our main area, but the big tanky guys with the swords, they will go through the choke point with the ground pounder, and that'll slow them down quite a bit. Our hero, you can put him in the center, or you can put him at the top where the tower is. Since we don't have a barracks, I would recommend probably putting him towards that top tunnel where all the guys are kind of coming out. That's a good place for Aleric to stand. But you can rotate him around as you see fit, just kind of wherever he needs to be. His sand warriors are really good at stalling things. Unfortunately, the Necromancer tower is basically like a barracks because of all the skeletons you summon. So on wave 12, you'll see the guys start to climb up the vines on the cracks in the rocks there. So fortunately, the mage towers can shoot at them as they climb up. That's really good. They are just the weaker guys, but you'll get so many of them that it is kind of annoying. I also start adding in the curses from the voodoo towers because that will start to amplify our damage and get some silencing effects off. You can see right there as they're climbing up, they get a nice voodoo tower, which increases the damage they will take. It also silences things. So just a absolute bloodbath for these lizard people getting caught in that center of all that stuff, just taking so much damage, especially with the ground pounder. When you see fit, go ahead and upgrade the Scorched Earth for the artillery. It's not like mandatory that you get it first, but it does do a lot of damage. You can see the burning just does really, really good chip to pretty much everything. And now just filling out the rest of the towers. Got the Archer Tower level 2 at the top there near the tunnel just to get a little bit of DPS. And just kind of, you have options at this point. I would probably prioritize upgrades on your towers more than anything else. You can see we have a level 4 mage tower, the Wizard Tower now. In that central point, that's going to be a really important tower to do chip. And as we see this massive stuff coming through, we're just moving our hero down, trying to stall stuff, dropping a good reinforcement, stalling out these invisible guys who managed to slip past. And I think I did have to, I burned a Brain of Fire there just to make sure that those guys died. And that was probably maybe the tightest part in this whole level. Wave 14, just getting more Archer Tower upgrades. I like the volleys for the main ones. They should pretty much all be level 4. You can see lots of things. Or me upgrading the rest of the towers, getting some wizard towers and level 4 volley towers. I wouldn't make any more voodoo towers or necromancer towers. At this point I would just prioritize the wizard towers because they are quite strong. And we already have the main choke point with the necromancer tower. That's really all you need. Another guy, the salamander brute things, we are introduced to the whips. These guys are really good at anti-reinforcement, anti-barracks, which is one of the reasons why I didn't prioritize barracks on this level, because there's lots of stuff that kill guys. So these things are very tanky. They will shred through skeletons. They will shred through pretty much everything. They are relatively weak to mage, so that's why hence why we have a lot of mages. The poison clouds are really good in conjunction with the ground pounder, so take advantage of that if you can. This is the 15th wave, though. You can see the entire guys are making their way to our exit. If you don't have enough mage towers, you will lose this game, so make sure you have pretty much level 4 mages, everything at this point. And I would prioritize that over any other kind of other upgrades. But you can see that magic damage should be enough to chip down even the tankiest guys. And they are all starting to die. Got a few more invisible dudes trying to make their way to the end, but we should be able to clean them up nice and easy. And looks like that is the end of the map. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.